Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Podcast listeners, welcome again. Thank you for being here. Today I've got a couple of guests. We're going to do a three-way discussion. So we'll see how this goes. You know, those are always difficult, but this should be fun today. I've got Amy Tennison, who is the Vice President of IBM TechXchange and Client Advocacy. I got Graeme Noseworthy, who is the TechXchange Content and Experience Champion. So let me explain. There's a couple words in there that are repeated. TechXchange. And what that essentially is at IBM is it is a learning hub for developers, technologists, techies. It's an event. We do a lot of regional conferences around TechXchange. We've got our major event that's going to happen in October of this year from 6th through 9th in Orlando, Florida. But I'm going to stop. It's got a lot of content to it. We've got over 4,000 community members. I mean, I could keep going on, but I'm going to pause. And I'm going to let the real experts talk about it. Now, typically, I don't talk about IBM as much. I mean, I do have IBM guests. I'd say about 50%, and we're proud of what we do. And then I got 50% that are probably guests like startups or otherwise in the community itself. And I don't advertise much, but I will say IBM TechXchange is different. And I did want to talk about that and kind of talk to the experts around that. So Amy, thank you for being here. Graeme, I appreciate you being here as well. Thank you guys. Welcome.
Thank you. We are really lucky to work on the TechXchange program and also get to work really closely with your team, Al, because it's how we engage all of our product users and potential product users. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about what's going to be the best experience for them. You know, certainly we want to, get them using our products more deeply and becoming, going from beginners to experts on our products and hopefully advocating for those products. But a lot of that starts with just learning about the products and building up a community of peers who also use the same products. So this program is very special to all of us. Mm-hmm. I know today we'll talk a little bit about the conference. I just, what you were saying earlier is so important for people to know, though, that this is really our always on client advocacy program. And so we have our online community at community.ibm.com where you can go and engage with people around, hundreds of different products out there. So it's a really rich place to talk to IBMers, to talk to the people actually building the products that you're using, as well as talk to other people that are using those same products with you, whether you're a client or a partner.
This is exactly what I'm looking for, Amy. That's fantastic. But before we jump in, if you would, and I'll go to Graeme, you next. Amy, just tell us who you are, what your experiences are. I'd like for the community or the podcast listeners to get to know you for a second.
No, that sounds great. Amy Tennison, I started on our IBM TechXchange program 2 years ago. Prior to that, I used to lead global business events at IBM. And before that, I led our worldwide automation performance marketing teams. I would just say that, engaging with our clients is a big passion of mine. I came from a place where I used to run our social media and community university programs at Dell. And so I find a lot of similarities just in building the community, engaging with influencers, and really looking at, how do we find ways to communicate, not just IBM talking at you, but building those, one-to-one relationships with the people using our products.
Fantastic. Graeme, first of all, I got to say, I've never seen Graeme spelled like that before.
I know and it's one of those things where it's been like a challenge my whole life. People are like, "What's your name? Grammy?" It's like, come on, my name's Graeme. So Al, first of all, thank you for letting me participate in this. This is a ton of fun. I love this kind of thing. I have been with IBM since 2011, and I have had a full range of marketing, content, social, and events jobs. But I got to tell you, and I'm going to say this, not just because Amy's on the call here, I really believe I have one of the coolest jobs in all of IBM, because my mission, my only mission, I know, right? We use Venmo, but my only mission is to ensure that I build really exciting, fun, engaging, educational experiences for our clients and partners and champions and lions and tigers and bears. I mean, it's just every day is exciting, every day is fun, and we just get to do cool stuff day in, day out. It's the best.
I can tell you guys are super excited to jump into Tech Exchange. So let's do it. Again, the reason I wanted to do it, the reason I wanted to have a chat about it is because I have to say as well, the last we've had 2 Tech Exchanges. And the last time I was there, I have to say that it was, if you're a techie, it was one of the most funnest events. Is funnest a word? One of the most funnest events that I have been at. Because you're talking technology, you're playing with technology, you're coding with technology, you're doing use cases, you're with peers, like-minded peers that want to geek out on technology. So that's why I said, I've got to have you guys on. We got to talk about it. How did we create Tech Exchange? Where did that concept come from? Can you talk about what it is and what it is not?
Yeah. Well, why don't I spend a minute talking about what it is? And Graeme, I will let you cover what it is not. But I think what is it? It's the single event that brings together the best technical talent across IBM. And we also bring together the most incredible use cases and stories from our clients and partners that are using our products. So if you want to really go deep on a product you're using today or get hands-on with a product you want to use tomorrow, I mean, this is the single event where you're going to be able to do that. And I would just, and Graeme will get more into what it is not, because I'd love to hear what Graeme has to say. But in particular, it's not video demos. It's not click-through demos. I mean, this is all live code, live product, live experience, get that sneak peek at what's coming. So it really is just exactly what you were teeing up, which is this phenomenal opportunity for technologists that live and breathe these products every day.
So what is it? What is it not? Tech Exchange is not boring and it's not effortless, right? So let me explain what I mean by that. We are focused on 3 primary things: community, learning, and fun. And we take all 3 of those very seriously. And we make a promise to our attendees. If you come and you spend a few days with us, you will leave, guaranteed, you will leave a better, more qualified professional than the day you showed up. But that takes effort, Al. So this is an educational, this is an experience event. This is not walk around, see some demos, it's not just that. And look, I'm not saying there is no conference that's only walk around, see demos, right? But I mean, there is a real effort involved in Tech Exchange. You're going to sessions, you're going to labs, whether they're hands-on or instructor-driven. There are certifications you're earning, and then we build an experience hall, the sandbox, which is all about community learning and fun. It doubles down on everything. So the reason I say it's not boring and it's not effortless is because you're going to have a lot of fun, you're going to learn a lot, but if you put the effort in, I promise you, you will get a lot out of it.
Nice. Let me ask you a follow-on, and then I'm going to go back to Amy. Here's my follow-on. Okay. What if for some reason, I don't have IBM products? I don't use IBM products. Is this not for you? I mean, it's not a good fit? Or do you say, no, you still got to get there, and here's why?
No, I think that's a great question. I mean, I think this is an environment for anyone who is interested in technology, the future of technology, but also where does this technology come from? I'm a big believer in what's called then, now, always. So we do a lot to bring IBM's history in. Right now, I'm working on a project with our corporate archives team. I'm actually going to go to the corporate archives in a couple of weeks, and we're going to take a look at what technology, what experiences, what artifacts can we bring that will help people understand why IBM has been a leader in this for so long, right? Why does all this technology, where does this all come from? And so whether you are deep in the weeds with IBM Tech, whether you are new to it, or whether you've got a manager out there who is like, look, I want you to go to this thing and find out what's happening in the world of AI, or in the world of sustainability, or in the world of mainframe, or you're going to come here and you're going to find your people. That's the first thing, right? And so because this is more about the people, learning conference, right? Not a learning conference. Because this is about the people and not so much about the technology, it's actually about you. So you don't have to be deep in the weeds for IBM. You just have to raise your hand and say, hey, look, I need an opportunity to go and learn why technology matters and where did it come from and where is this all going? And that's what I want to bring back to my team or my office or my role. And so do you have to be deep in the weeds? Nope. You just have to be interested in learning.
I heard a rumor that we don't even allow marketing in. Is that true?
We still have to have some people there to staff the booths for us. Everybody needs a bathroom break.
That's a good answer. All right. So Amy, let me ask you. That was a very good answer. That was a great answer. That was fantastic. Very good. So Amy, I know we talk about the conference. It's kind of a culmination of the year, and that's kind of an exciting event. But you mentioned earlier that this is a sustained thing all year long. Could you talk more on that?
I would just say the conference is the physical manifestation of what the TechXchange program is. So we're bringing you together at this one point in the year to get to experience all of these different incredible things that Graeme has talked about. But this is an always-on program. And so some of the same experiences that you get physically on site at the conference, you can experience in our online community. You can experience by going to local user groups or going to local technical workshops run, frequently by Al's team here. So the same way that you get access to your people, your tribe, right? Your peers and the experts building the tools you care about, you can get that always on in the IBM community or by going to your local user group meetups that may be happening in your own backyard. So we want people to come to the conference, but I think more importantly, we want you to be engaged with us year round in your own local city or state.
Thank you for that. And Amy refers to my team. As many of you listeners know, I do run tech sales, but I can tell you it's more technical than it is sales. That's certainly where my head's at. We work collectively to sponsor some of these events so we can talk technology. That's what we're trying to do. In terms of current events, what are some of the current events that are happening now, if you could talk to them, that people should be mindful of? And then I do want to come back to the TechXchange conference, and I want you to kind of outline what can people expect throughout the year and as we head into the TechXchange conference.
Just in terms of current events, we have stuff always happening. Even coming up on April 22nd, we've got a big virtual day where we're focusing on large language models and AI agents. It's specifically timed more around some of our APAC attendees, but it will be an entire, a day full of different sessions and activities from some amazing experts inside IBM and outside. So, there's big virtual events like that coming up. There's also about 400 different webinars we do a year. And, of course, think, right, whether you're going to our big corporate IBM event, think, or you're just watching some of those announcements virtually, we will have the next wave of major product announcements coming. And following Think, we do another big, large virtual TechXchange event where we really go under the covers or under the hood of some of those announcements and show you truly the code, talk to the experts that are building it, and try to get you hands-on, even if it is in a virtual way over the course of the summer leading up to the conference. From a conference perspective, I'd say too, there's so many different ways to engage. So even just things to look out for over the next couple of months, I would say May 6th, we're launching the sneak peek of our session catalog. You'll be able to see about 300 different instructor-led labs that we're going to be publishing then, as well as content from the top 200 speakers that we've already published live on our website. Then in June, we'll publish the next wave of the session catalog. And in July, we'll have the complete session catalog published for you to take a look at and actually start scheduling and building your agenda. But even more than that, there's an awards program. So we look at 8 different technology categories, and we have our customers actually submit against those different technical categories, and then the community votes on the top nominations, and the winners of each of those awards are brought to our conference in October. We're able to really celebrate them physically in person together. Whether you're into, awards or you're into speaking, there's also just a hackathon coming up in the summer too. We do a big pre-conference hackathon. It's a great chance to get physically your hands on the product, start trying it out. And if you've got one of those, really awesome ideas at the end, then we bring you and your team actually to the conference too to show it off and talk more about the solution you came up with.
Follow-up question for Amy. Amy, do you ever sleep? Because I work on one piece of this and I'm like around the clock. I mean, that was an incredible amount of stuff you just listed. Holy cow.
Well, I would question whether or not Graeme actually does sleep. I just think he likes his job so much. He's okay giving up the sleep.
That's true.
But no, like I think we jam it all in. And I think that's the best part of this is it's not really about the one conference. Like, yes, do we want you to go? Absolutely. But we want this to be always on. That is the most important part of this for us. And it's not just about people that can make it to the US for this event in Orlando, but it's about, the global community of technologists that we have out there, many of whom are incredibly passionate about IBM technology and others who just are trying to figure it out. Quite frankly, the rate and pace of how quickly things are evolving in AI. And, last year was all about Gen AI. Now it's about agentic AI. And if you're just wondering, like, how the heck do I stay up to date on all of this stuff, I encourage you to join our community and join the discussion there, because we're, trying to both do that ourselves, but also equip our community with the latest and greatest info coming from IBM.
Yeah, I just want to tack on to that real quick. I just want to tack on one thing. Our clients, partners, friends, people who are IBMers, technologists and practitioners deserve that treatment. Like, I really believe that. We work hard to put all this stuff on, not just because, like, this is our job and it's our mission and, ever onward, right? We do it because they deserve that. And if you want strong advocates and you want people who really understand the technology and can really take advantage of these incredible, products and solutions, which is great, but to do that, you've got to give them the platform to be able to learn and grow. And we just really believe in it because we really believe they deserve it.
First off, where can folks go to find some of this information? Where do they find it? And then secondly, most of this stuff is free, is it not? I know the conference is a conference. You got to pay for food and all that kind of stuff. So there's some nominal fee there. But most of the stuff that you're talking about is free of charge. It's just sharing information across the community, is it not?
Yeah, from a community perspective, absolutely. Our events, the webinars are free. The big virtual events are free. User group meetups are free. Yes, the conference does have a charge, but also talk to your IBM account rep, because there's a lot of complimentary passes out there too. And this year it's brand new, but Community Day is completely free on Monday, which is our pre-conference day, October 6th. And then we're offering a student day on Tuesday, which is also completely free for anyone with a .edu email address and a student ID. So we're trying to make the access to even the conference as easy as possible so that we can, leverage it as an opportunity to meet with everybody. Go to ibm.com/TechXchange. No, it's a little weird. It's TECHX and then change, CHANGE. But ibm.com/TechXchange or community.ibm.com will both get you to all of this information. Our community lives in the same place as our conference website. We're continue to build that out. We've got an incredible badging program. So if you come to our events, whether it's the local events, the virtual events, or the big events, you can actually get Credly badges for your LinkedIn accounts. So there's so much there that honestly, I just encourage you to check it out. And if there's anything that you don't see, please tell us, post in the community and, we'll go see what we can do to make it happen.
Yeah. And Al, there's so many of us that work on this, and there's so many IBM champions, and there's so many clients and partners that attend, that if you just lean out a window and yell TechXchange, somebody will probably show up to help you. So that's another method. You'll just have to trust me that that's true.
Can I tell you one quick story, though? I love it. And I'll give Graeme major props here. But Graeme was on LinkedIn. And last year at our conference, we gave out friendship bracelets in our sandbox, which is like our version of an expo hall, if you remember. And someone had posted on LinkedIn that they wore their friendship bracelet every single day and it finally broke. And they were devastated. I have to tell you, Graeme found the post, reached out to our team. We found somebody on the team that had a friendship bracelet, the same exact one that just broke, that they were willing to give up. And we were sending it back to this person, as kind of one of those surprise and delight moments. So, that is what we want from this whole program. We want, community, learning, fun, but we want you to be constantly surprised and delighted by just the love and embrace that you get as a user in this community, because we're really, just so passionate about what we do and thankful for the jobs that we get to have.
Well, before anybody makes fun of those friendship bracelets, I got one as well. And I have to tell you, one of my mottos is always work hard, play hard. And this one said, learn hard, play hard. And I thought, that's actually more me than work hard, play hard. And so I wore it for, I don't know, probably 6 months. That's probably a good tattoo for somebody out there. Learn hard, play hard.
Al,
I think it's fantastic.
That I cannot believe you just said that, Al. That is the bracelet that this guy wore every day and broke. That we had like 35 of them made. That's the one. Learn hard, play hard. And then you just said it. That's hysterical.
Yes, I love that one.
My dog was running around today with one in his mouth. I was like, where did you get that?
This isn't me drinking the Kool-Aid, I don't think. I don't know any other company that really does a conference like this. Now, let me give it a little lead in. We have got another conference. So just to be clear, it's called Think. And it's here in May. And it's really business-oriented, C-suite oriented, all good. If you think of like 50, 60,000 foot, think TechXchange, you're down 20, 10,000, even lower foot. I mean, and to your point, the great news about this is you're collaborating with peers and everybody wants everybody else to be successful. So the cool thing is if you go to the TechXchange, and I've done this as well, you're sharing ideas with different people and they'll say, hey, you know what? I wrote a program like that. I'll send that GitHub to you tomorrow.
I really like to think that we are unexpectedly surprising people. Like when somebody walks in and they take a look at the sandbox, and I have heard people say, IBM built this? Like, what? This is incredible. And it's not incredible because of its scale and size, or because it's incredible because we really truly believe in community learning and fun. So does this kind of thing happen elsewhere? Sure. Yep, it does. But in bits and pieces. We worked hard to bring it all together under one roof and to build the sandbox, to build this expo hall in a way that we hope is really, really surprising, exciting, and a place you just want to dig in. You just want to dig in.
But one thing I think the whole industry is challenged by the pace of change and the skill level differences among personas. How do you cater to different skill levels and interests with TechXchange?
The first I would just say is that we offer over 1,000 different types of sessions and activities when you come to the conference. Now, the average person may only have time to do 14. Okay. But by offering 1,000, we're really looking at different core personas and what types of experiences and sessions they would be most interested in. We also look at it from a technology track perspective. So, what products are you actually using that you would want to go deeper in? And then we look at different ways people learn, right? Some people learn by listening or sitting in a session. And so we have those breakout sessions. We have tech talks. We have big announcement types of general sessions. But other people learn by being very hands-on. And so in those cases, if you want to come to the conference, you're like, I don't want to just hear people talk at me and see live code. I really want to get physically hands-on. We have those opportunities too. So you can do our instructor-led labs. You could do hands-on workshops. You could physically go in the sandbox and all of these different like interactive experiences that maybe only take 15, 20 minutes, but you could learn a lot even in our sandbox expo hall that I think is very non-traditional from other conferences when you go in and it's just a big giant vendor fair. And then some people just learn through networking, and we have that too. So it could be coming in and doing a Meet the Expert session, or doing a live demo at a tech desk, or doing the peer roundtables, right? And so just it could be that you're going to get the richest discussions and information out of talking to other peers about the same challenges that you have and how they're solving it. So we try to just make sure there's a lot of different flavors of learning, and it's very much a create your own adventure.
And I'll give you an example of the fun. One of the things that we do is set up televisions with Nintendo Wii's running Mario Kart with like bean bags for people to sit on. Now, we also build a full cabinet arcade and all these things. But the reason we do that isn't just because I believe in the power of relaxation. I do it because when I walk around and I see people sitting there, and you can't see me because this is only audio, but I'm pretending like I'm using a Nintendo Wii, right? What we hear them doing while they're playing is having these conversations where they're connecting, they're talking about technology, they're decompressing from that crazy certification exam they just took, but hey, they got that certification, or maybe they didn't, and someone's encouraging them to take it again. So the fun isn't just about fun, and I do believe in fun. It's also about those other things, community and learning. That's what I can guarantee. You're going to find your people, you're going to advance your career, and you're going to have some fun in a way that is actually meaningful. And that's what I want to deliver.
So I am pushing Graeme to also have like goat yoga and a puppy playground and
yes.
Too. So I don't know what's actually going to be there, but like we're really, the ideas are flowing right now.
So the goat yoga and the puppy pit is, well, we should call it something better than a puppy pit. That's a little weird. Puppy playground. That's right. Yeah. Because that word actually comes in somewhere else. And this is a term that has actually come up in a few meetings. And believe it or not, the idea is coming. Ball pit. Now, if you know what a ball pit is, we're going to build one that's like adult size, but there's like a challenge you have to go through before you get your photo taken as you jump into this wild ball pit. So this is the thing, is it's like, it's all about these unexpectedly exciting, delightful experiences that you just would never expect to find. And there it is, waiting for you.
Listeners, I know you think they're kidding, but they are not kidding. I promise you.
We're not. We're not.
Arcade. Yeah, the arcade you guys had last year was phenomenal. I mean, this is like an old school arcade that I'm old enough to have walked into. Yeah. But I mean, it was like standing room only. And people were in there. I mean, it was just having a fantastic time. And it was amazing. I'm not kidding.
Graeme also puts together our playlist for the conference too, for the sandbox. So, just imagine that, I don't know, Graeme, like, I don't know how many hours you lock yourself away just to figure out what 80s and 90s music is going to be most appropriate to be playing here.
Yeah. Al, do you see what I mean when I said before, I think I have one of the greatest jobs at IBM? Like,
you might be right. I'm a little envious right now. It sounds like a ton of fun already, just getting prepared for this stuff, man. That's awesome. And by the way, if you have goat yoga, I'm in on that. I've got to try this, see what this is like. Where do you think TechXchange is heading in the next couple of years?
Our goal is to continue to get bigger, to address just the volume of different topics and products and interest areas that our community has. But even as we continue to grow, we still want this to feel like an intimate event, And so, our goal is to have 20,000 people together in 2027, but to create it in such a way that we don't lose that family reunion type of feel. As more people hear about it and more people come every year, we want to make sure that we're providing just the depth and breadth of sessions and topics that people care about. But we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that this is just about that community and learning. The other piece I would just say is technology changes so incredibly fast. Like, again, last year we were all about Gen AI, and this year it's all about agentic AI, and who knows what we will be talking about come October. And so I would just say, that's why I encourage people to get involved in the program year round, to sign up for our newsletters to hear about all of these great virtual events, because we're talking about those things. And again, talking about it, as you mentioned earlier, at the ground level, right? Like really very niche, specific topics that people are interested in. And anything you care about, we're probably talking about it or having a virtual event or a face-to-face event about it, or there's a discussion thread about it. And so, that's just my kind of call to action, is just join the community and see what's out there. And then certainly, come and meet up with us in October every year for the conference. But, you'll get the best information if you're just in the community year round.
How do you guys curate the sessions and speakers? I mean, how does what goes into that curation?
It is intensive. And so, as awesome as Graeme is, he has a whole team of people that are working across these 12 different or 11 different technology tracks. We're going to have 4 different personas that we build tracks and content around. And so, each track essentially has a steering committee represented by my team, by our technical sales leaders, by our product teams, our learning teams, our customer success managers. And so this whole group of people gets together to really curate the very best topics and speakers that are going to resonate most for each of these different areas. And so it is complex, and there's a lot of discussion on what's in and what's out. But I think in the end, you get this very deep experience. So it's almost in some ways like many different little mini conferences co-located into one. But the best thing is you can jump around. So you don't have to stay in one track. You could say, hey, I'm really interested in AI, but I'm also interested in data or automation or our new IBM Z17 that just launched. And so you get to experience all those different flavors. We also do have, I do want to highlight, we have a call for speakers every year. And we literally this weekend just closed call for speakers this year, but had over 800 external clients and partners submit sessions. And so it's our goal that 60% of the total content is externally led, so that when you come here, you're not just getting the IBM Kool-Aid, right? But you're actually hearing from people using this today in their own companies, what their lesson learned are, and what were their challenges, right? Like, those people are going to give it to you straight. They're not going to tell you the perfect story. They're going to say what worked and what didn't.
Hey, look, I got one question for each of you and then a question for both of you, and then we'll close up shop. The first question for you, Graeme, is in terms of the execution that you've been talking about, what do you think you've seen as the most common pain point that the developers that you've met in these conferences have faced?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think there's a couple of things, right? I think that there's, in my experience and having conversations with lots of people in the sandbox, what I have found is that the first challenge they have is they may have an IBM product or solution, and their perception is that they're using some of it and they want to use all of it. So they want to get better and better and better at using the products and solutions they have. And maybe they're just getting started with Watson X or Maximo or Power or Storage or Z or whatever it might be, right? And they want to get better and better at using that and understanding its full capabilities. And so that's why it's interesting, Al, earlier you said it's more technology and less sales. That's really true from the technical sellers that we work with and who are working with their clients at these events. They're doing a lot more technical advocacy and assistance than selling. The second thing that I see is this model of, hey, if I'm really interested in one area, how do I connect that to other areas? So if I'm really interested in Watson X, how does that connect to security? Or if I'm really interested in mainframe, how does that connect to sustainability? Or how does all of this connect to AI, right? AI is now in everything. So I want to get better at understanding how it connects to everything. And Amy and I often refer to it as better together. For me, that's what I see. How do I get more out of what I already have by getting better at learning how to use it? And how do I take what I already have or what I'm interested in and connect it to this big world of all of these technology tracks and all of these things that I see at TechXchange?
Amy, is there a notable success or a testimonial from past experiences that you've had? I mean, something that immediately comes to mind that you're incredibly proud of?
I will say there was one quote that has become a rally cry for our team. And we actually printed it out as a giant poster. I framed it for every single person on the team. But we had a prior attendee who said, the conference was pure A game. And it was not just an event that someone simply attends, but it was an experience that you become. And they utilized the word become instead of have, because they said from the moment that you walked in, the aesthetic was inviting. And seriously, it felt like an invitation to awesomeness, which I just loved that idea of this. After everything we've said, right? Like, hopefully you're feeling like this is an awesome experience, and that's what we're designing for, and it's what we want you to experience. So I loved hearing from one of our attendees that we actually delivered on that for them. We truly believe if you spend one day with us, we'll have you hooked on this conference for life.
Is there anything you wish people knew about TechXchange before they actually attend?
I think the biggest thing is wear comfortable shoes, literally, jeans, t-shirts, right? Like, this is not your normal work conference. In fact, the dress code is what we like to call coder casual, but it's just about being comfortable.
That's like the flip-flops.
I got flip-flops on most of the time that I'm there. So
It's about like, just be yourself. Like, don't worry about anything else. Just you be you, and you be unfiltered you, not what you think is business you. Just be yourself. Come with a team member. Right? Like if you're going to your manager and you're justifying your attendance, like justify you and like a few other people, whether it's somebody above you or even better, your peer or somebody below that you want to raise up in your organization. Bring a coworker, right? Because if you come to this event by yourself, you will find your people, you will learn, you will have fun, all those things I guarantee. But if you bring your team with you, now you are elevating the experience to a level where you're going to have a massive impact on your organization.
Where can folks find you?
LinkedIn or the community.
Yeah,
the community. I was waiting for the community.
Al, we have a discussion thread in the community too for ideas. So if you have any ideas of things that you want to see at the conference, of topics you want to hear about at the conference, we want to hear about it too. And literally the people listening to this podcast today can make an impact on it. So, just we're constantly learning and hearing about new ideas and bringing that in as much as the ideas come from ourselves.
Yeah, and if you have a favorite classic arcade cabinet game that you really love, or a pinball machine, like I need to know now so I can plan ahead.
Fantastic. And where, again, is the website that folks should go? I want to hit this again.
You can go to ibm.com/TechXchange, and it's TECHX and then CHANGE, or you can go to community.ibm.com, and both will get you to the same place.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Amy, what do you do for fun? When you're not doing all this craziness, what is your for fun game?
I do have 2 little kids, so I am full of, today I actually just got home from getting a cast for my 6-year-old.
Oh,
and
boy.
When I'm not doing that, we have a lot of sporting events. But I will tell you, the one thing I never gave up when I had kids was watching TV. I just moved it later at night and gave up sleep so I could still get in all my reality TV shows.
All right. I like the honesty. And hopefully you get a lot of signatures on that cast.
He's literally a 6-year-old, though. So I am waiting to come home with all sorts of inappropriate pictures and things I'm now going to be coloring the whole time. That's what I got to look forward to. That's part of the experience.
That is part of the experience. That's the fun stuff. All right. Same question for you. What do you do for fun? Graeme, Graeme.
Hey, that's me. So Amy, I hate to tell you this, but my 19-year-old broke his foot recently. So those things never stop. What do I do for fun? All right. Well, I play video games with my buddies from high school. I watch movies with my family. I ride my ATV like a bat out of hell through the woods. I volunteer an enormous amount of my time with YMCA, Harvard Humanitarian, and Massachusetts elections. And when I'm not doing that, I am working on my house and playing with my dog and just generally not sleeping a lot. I just like to do as much as I can. So I am a person who is go all the time. And it works for me. So That's what I do. I rarely ever sit still.
All right, Graeme. Amy, thank you for being here and talking to us about TechXchange today.
Thank you,
This
Al.
is good. This is fantastic. We appreciate it. Listeners, hit us on almartintalksdata@gmail.com. Love to hear from you so we can have the next guest that you prefer on. Until next time, we'll see you on the podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.